outside and they come in and they're it's insane.
That's fun.
And they have a whole choir.
Hold the floats down. We're coming over that bridge. I was scared to death. And she drives like a
All right, 30 seconds, Eric.
I'm holding everything down and thinking if I go over the edge, I wonder if I can hold on to this float.
All the way down into the water.
Right. All right. It's you.
That's the only place I got it from. No, this right here.
That's right. We're getting right to the end of Island Moon Thursday and jumping right
Yes.
into the Eric Von Wade Show, starring Eric Von Wade
How's it going? Good to
as
have you.
Eric Von Wade in Eric Von Wade.
I play myself usually,
Yeah.
and every now and then I've tried to get Brad Pitt to stand in, but it's difficult, you know. I tell you, it's beautiful weather out here, except for this wind. I mean,
It is
you know,
windy.
Well, as long as you're shooting downwind, you're upwind, you're okay.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let the deer wind you.
If you're a windsurfer, like I saw that guy, you're great. Don't fall down though, because you'd be
You'll
like
never get
hitting the
back up
water
again.
at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
That hurts.
You can get road rash on the water.
Exactly. Good to see you, Debbie, as well.
Good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while, Eric.
I know it's been a minute, and I like that everybody's wearing cowboy hats now. You know, when I was growing up, everybody had a hat. It was like boots and hats. Now people call you cowboy because I'm one of the few people doing it. So I think we should bring it back. You know,
Bring back hats or bring back cowboy?
oh, well, both. You know, one leads to the other.
Well,
kinda.
one thing that I kind of find is that I appreciate the attitude and the behavior that comes with people wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I kind of treat people differently or think differently of them, depending on if they have a hat and how they're wearing it. I mean, it's one thing if you're like, no, you don't want to be the fedora guy
No.
who's just doing it because it's popular,
Well,
Like,
unless your name's like Harrison Ford or something.
Yeah.
You know, and,
That's true.
And then, Indiana
true.
Jones, you can pull that off.
yeah.
That's true.
It's, but
I don't know. In the Northeast, where I grew up, nobody wore cowboy hats. Obviously.
Yeah.
some places they call them bonnets.
Yeah.
And it ruins the whole, or sun. Louisiana, if you wear a straw cowboy hat, they call it a sun hat.
Yeah.
And so it's a step up from bonnet, I suppose.
Now I'm all
but-
for a hat that keeps the sun off your face because
Oh, yeah.
I get this creamy gringa face and I got to take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, look, here's the thing, and I say this, you know why it's harder to find people wearing straw hats these days? Because the good ones went up significantly this last year.
Oh, yeah.
They used to.
Really?
I mean, they were made in Mexico forever. All of them made
Is
the
that,
straw
a
hats.
is that a tariff thing, a supply chain thing?
Well, it's where they,
It's just the price of everything.
to be honest with you,
Yeah.
some of it is because we are no longer getting the cheap labor from Mexico to make the hats. Straw hats are a lot of labor intensive. All cowboy hats
Okay,
are
that makes
labor
sense.
intensive.
Well, really good cowboy hats are
Right.
expensive, aren't they?
Well, now they're $200 for a straw hat.
Well, you
For a
can
straw
you
hat?
can get
No wonder I
interesting
don't have
like
one.
you can get different brands. Some for a little cheaper.
Well, yes,
one
but-
of the things we went to the Lauren and I went to one of the. I'm not going to say the peddler show, but it was one of the things at
in Robstown, yeah.
And there was this lady. I forget the name. It's like branded something. I forget. Lauren, I'm sure Lauren can tell me. But she got a custom cowboy hat.
Wow.
With like they kind of
Like they measure your head
yeah.
and make it for you.
Yeah, so
Right.
and they did
Wow.
it right there. They have the
Yeah.
steamer and everything. They fit it and they put a heart in on top. So instead of the normal crease,
Right.
it's actually like folded in. There's the heart on it.
Right.
It's so cool. It's a really neat hat. It's
There's a
gorgeous.
guy that's on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Yeah.
And he custom
Yeah.
shapes hats. Now, he charges a pretty penny. The guy is over the top, bigger, larger than life personality. I
Yeah.
tried to get him on, and they don't do interviews. He said we don't. I get requests all the time. I
Yeah.
go.
No, because he's got his own. He's got his own
I
stuff.
suppose,
his own
but
shows.
it would still promote the
Yeah.
guy is
Yeah.
like he has got so much character saturated in his whole process that he shows you how he shapes the hat. Now I used to work in a hat store,
So it's not
yeah.
just the hat. It's a performance
right.
hat.
It's a performance that makes your hat, and you can copy any hat from any movie you've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He says, "Oh, I think you look good in this one from this western," and Rio
Yeah.
Bravo or
Well,
whatever.
Yeah, and I learned shaping hats over like a pot on my stove.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
know, and that was that's the old school way. So that's the thing. It's like now it's like a personal kind of touch. Like any hat that I buy, I'm like, oh, if
Well-
it looks great at the store,
But
Yeah.
that's okay, whatever. But like, I'm always going to customize it like to a bit.
But
what
do
I
you
mean?
know
Gotta do
what's
something.
big customizing now for women, especially, is hat bars. Man, hat bars are huge
Well,
now.
Evoke's got one.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Evoke on the Island has their own, and they she does absolutely stunning. When she just gets bored sitting there, she'll decorate a hat, and you can be like, I don't need to decorate my own hat. I just want that hat.
That's awesome.
But there's lots of them, and they're like, go to Michael Mays. Michael Mays has
Yeah.
like a hat bar night, and I see him because I go to a lot of events, and I see them at a lot of events.
Well, here's
And
the
things
great
you can
thing about
decorate
it.
with: feathers, beads, all kinds of stuff.
I think we're probably not. It was probably California, but I'm going to say Texas had to be the originator of it. When you started seeing this, I mean, I guess it goes back to.
Isn't that a
Be-
vaquero Mexican thing?
Well,
Hats.
my particular point was that the cowboy hat
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the beachwear combination. All right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Board shorts and a cowboy hat and,
Yeah.
and sandals.
That's us.
And
That's definitely us.
Because yes, they've had cowboys in California, but the shape of the hat is different there.
Yeah.
I mean, and so we're seeing some things like many people don't realize that the shape of the hat we have today was not one they would have worn in the Wild West. 19th
Yes.
century, your hat had a curl on it when you hadn't been in town long enough to iron the brim flat again, and it had rained on you, and you were grabbing
it
it,
curled
and that's
up.
Well, and bowler hats were really popular.
Right.
That was more likely worn by a bunch of the immigrants than it was them actual
Right.
like what we think of when we think of cowboy. hats.
here's the thing with the bowler hat. You know why it was invented?
Why?
I can bore you to death. I feel like
Please
Dale
tell us
left,
why.
and I've embodied his spirit of as he's,
Of information, yeah.
Here we go. I'm no Dale, but,
But,
there's only one Dale. But
Thank God.
Here's the thing. So for people who rode in windy areas, right?
Okay.
The cowboy hat that we have today has a stiff brim to hold the shape. Back in the day, they were not stiff; it was floppy, and that they wanted it flat. But also, so when you rode, it would flip up. As things
we
started,
want it to not blow off.
Right, so it wouldn't blow off your head. Not everybody had those cords around their neck.
It's
the
hat
so-called
aerodynamics
stick.
of the
Right.
hat.
Well, that still didn't always work in the windiest of conditions.
Yeah.
So the bowler hat had a round top to it and a shorter brim, so it didn't catch as much wind. And also because it had a round open crown, you could go through branches. Everybody rode a horse. Trees were everywhere. We didn't have paved roads. You have to
True.
keep in mind to get from Corpus Christi. Goliad to Houston, it was a 3-day ride in a buckboard wagon. And there were no paved roads. You had to know the trail. And so that hat was one of those, if your hat blew off, now you're wasting even more time because you got to go run
'Cause you
chase
gotta
it
run back
somewhere
and get your hat.
if you can find it. The bowler hat, I always wanted one. Stetson will still custom make one for you. You can order it your size.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a $250. Well, it was back in 2015 when I looked at it, about a $250 purchase. But
Yeah.
I couldn't
It's more
decide
than
brown
that
or black. Brown or black. You know,
So
there's-
then you were paralyzed with indecision and you didn't get one.
and I didn't get one, and of course I've also tried this once before too. I got married in Fredericksburg, Texas when I was married because I went through there and I go, this place is awesome. And then my favorite Western to
You
this
didn't
day.
have to marry someone to stay there.
Well, I know. I already knew her at the time, and so it was like 4 Christmases of crying because there was no ring, and so I was like, okay, it's about might as well just do this, and
That's the spirit.
you know,
I can see why that worked out.
There were other factors involved. That was just
Yeah.
it
There's
was
always more to it. Yeah.
And now at this stage in life, it might happen on the week. Hey, you want to get married? Okay, let's just do it. What the heck? We're not going to live much longer anyway.
Well, and you're ordained, so
Again,
you
that's
can
the
you
spirit.
can pretty much do it.
You could
yourself.
marry yourself, but it always
And they
leads
say
to.
you have a fool for a judge if you
We've
represent
got,
yourself.
We've got so many boat captains and stuff out here. We can just
Are
Right?
boat captains ordained to do that?
Bring me the cabin girl.
Well, I believe in Texas, all they really care about is the paperwork from the county.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
file and everything's done there,
Right.
then
Oh, yeah,
that's it.
you can get
then
married
you're
by
good.
anybody,
Well,
yeah.
I have my ordination card somewhere here.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Keep that in mind, people. If you need to get married and
That's
you
right.
want to, you can call into this show.
that's right. I put on
make
a
arrangements.
fantastic ceremony, by the way. I don't care.
And he's got a hat.
You tell me what type of performance, what type of ceremony you would like. I always like to include the crushing of the glass in the towel, but I'll explain
That's
that.
a Jewish thing, right?
It is, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: all 3 major religions share the Old Testament, basically, as their origin.
Oh, they're all the
Islam?
monotheistic religions that
And-
we learn about in school.
Right, and so and not only that, but it's a symbolic thing. I didn't mean to get off track, but you bring it up, and nobody knows what this means. I know Jewish people that don't know what it means. It symbolizes the destruction of the temple in Israel because nothing lasts forever. Appreciate it while you have it. Okay. Now that
It
seems like
seems
it's
kind of funny at a wedding to be like nothing lasts forever.
well, but you know what? I had
Okay.
it was I went to a therapist once. I know it's going to shock people, but I did, and it was the best ever.
Can you imagine if he hadn't gone to a therapist?
Wow. I don't know. Anyway, but I learned one of the most valuable things ever from this guy. And,
We're going on our third valuable thing we've learned. We've learned glasses at a wedding. We've
Yep.
learned bowler hats. What are we going to learn now?
It still
What
comes.
about?
It still comes back to Judaism. I don't know why that is,
Yeah.
but anyway, his Dr. Gerald Kazarian, great. I mean, the best guy. He used to run Boston marathons all the time. Still
Okay.
runs, but if he's still running. Anyway, I haven't talked to him in a few years. Nonetheless, he said everybody has this concept that you're going to find somebody, fall in love, get married,
Your
and
soulmate.
and you're going to be there for married 50, 60 years until one of you dies.
Yes.
He goes, that rarely ever happens. He said, and people don't realize if it's not one thing, it's another. You have people who get married, they're madly in love, after a year, they find out she's got terminal brain cancer and has 3 months to live. You get run over by a bus, and he said, did you have a good run with whatever? Yeah. He said there was a scenario. Just gave it.
So you're like, enjoy what you have while you have it.
Right, and appreciate it in the moment instead of
Right.
being what most people live their lives through the sweet sorrow of remembering how good it used to be or how good
Right,
things
right.
were.
That's
Right.
something that always
The
gets
good
me.
old
It's-
days. And
yes.
like when? The 50s when women couldn't vote?
Well,
I mean,
when people are like, "Oh, high school, that was the best time of my life," and it's like you're married with 2 beautiful kids, and
Right.
high school was the best time
yeah.
of your life.
Well, I
Like,
think
you
here
need some
in
perspective.
Texas in particular, because that's that football
Yeah.
thing where people where the kids who play football and they live their whole life for that, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
becomes the peak of their
Back in
the peak of
1982,
their
I used to
life,
be able
yeah.
to throw this football over that
Right.
JFK Causeway right
I-
there.
I blame-
Right, and then but you got to move on and be like, okay, well now I'm a
Right.
good husband, I'm a great
I blame-
father, I'm
it's
a
all
good
John Cougar
radio.
Mellencamp's fault.
Yes, I blame John Cougar.
There you go.
Well, he's
Those
just John Mellencamp now.
I
Yeah.
was loving that song "Glory Days."
No Cougar.
when I was in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
What days in the past? I mean, it was
What days in the past? Oh my gosh, that's like the musician Raul Ayala.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who's amazing. He's like what 12? No, he's 19. I don't.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's an amazing guitar player. Super funny. Right. He writes a lot of his own music, and one of my favorite songs that he sings is "Quit Your Day Job." And every time he plays that, I mean, it's really fun and boppy, but I crack up because I'm like, dude, you're 12. You've never had a day job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, and I say this too. There are things that sometimes people. There are few people in life that I've ever seen that appreciate the time in which they live. One of those
That's
people.
true.
He had some serious flaws that are rarely
Oh,
ever
no.
discussed as president. But when you look back at the person who brought us into the 20th century, and Theodore Roosevelt. I almost called him Teddy. He hated people calling him Teddy. Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah, he's not here now to know what you're calling him.
Well, that's
he's
true. He's
Theodore
listening.
Roosevelt.
He's watching. He's a big hunter.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he's a big hunter and initial one of the first official conservationists.
That's
no,
right.
he was the huge
Right.
national parks guy, right?
Yeah.
He had a
So we
family.
love him for that.
And we wouldn't have Yellowstone National Park if it wasn't for that.
Which is
I mean,
amazing. That is an amazing place to go.
Maybe the destruction of America, according to this documentary that I saw, because of a volcanic abscess that's brewing under the grounds there. But
Yeah, not in
but-
our lifetime.
not-
So
let's
we'll
hope.
live our life right now.
But here's the thing: this is a guy who had, and everybody will make an excuse. Well, I don't have the money he had. Came from very wealthy. I don't. It's whatever you decide to do. He saw the Wild West as what it was, a unique small moment. It really was
Yeah.
a very short period of time that we romanticized into being much longer. It
Yeah.
ended in 1875 when we stopped driving cattle
Yep.
from Texas to Oklahoma. And so,
Was that Lonesome Dove era?
Yep, that's right. And that was also the same year that we saw some of the greatest true pistoliers pass away. That's the Aces and Eights when Deadwood, South Dakota, when we had
There's a TV series for
Duckbill.
that too.
Yeah, they called him Duckbill because he had a big upper lip, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And why can't I think of his
Wild
name
Bill
also?
Hickok?
Yeah, Wild Bill
Okay.
Hickok. And that's why he also shot people, because he didn't like being made fun of. No, that's not
It
true.
was gangster back in the
It was
day. I'm
gangster.
gonna
Well,
tell you, yes.
there was
It actually wasn't as gangster as you think. Like, there were
Right.
gangsters, obviously, but a lot of those guys, Bob always says this, when they got into town, they had to turn their guns in. They had to turn their guns over before they were allowed in town because most of the sheriffs didn't want people coming in and shooting everybody
there were
up.
still people shooting their guns up in
Yeah.
the air on New Year's
Yeah.
and now
that was this year.
and 4th of July, right?
Yeah, and 4th of
And
July.
you think after 100 years we'd learn, but
we don't learn.
Jeez.
here's what got me about this: is Wild Bill Hickok was the only man who was truly a legend of accuracy in shooting. He had a propensity for it like nothing else, and he shot till the day he died black powder, cap and ball revolvers when cartridges were out, and he shot Navy Colts that were carried in a red sash he tied. He didn't use holsters, and he cross-drew them. The only real shootout in the street was Wild Bill Hickok. He shot a man at 40 paces through the heart at a draw, right? And it wasn't set up. I'm gonna meet you in the street. They just happened to meet in the street. He also then turned around and shot his deputy, who was running down the buckboard sidewalk behind him. He heard the noise. He turned and on an instant shot and killed him.
Yeah, don't make any quick movements around him.
Right,
So
so-
he was like the Michael Phelps of shooting. Like his body was just like
It was-
genetically
I had
inclined for that.
my buddy's brother was a junior Olympian shooter,
Yeah.
and he was one of those people, just a natural talent,
Yeah.
and with proper training,
Yeah.
the guy was unbelievable. I knew he was a good shooter. Never really it's like, okay, yeah, like he's really good. Dove hunting, he was freaking dead on. And
Yeah.
well, we went and I watched him play Buck Hunter, that silly video game with the puck.
Yeah.
And he was annihilating stuff. It was
Yeah.
it was incredible to watch. And it's
Well,
just a natural talent.
Confidence is one of the biggest things, but here's the other thing when it comes to shooting, and I say this, I can take Debbie here, and I can take whomever, right?
Ronnie.
Ronnie, yeah.
Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie. And now Ronnie may be an exception, but another Ronnie, right? Any other guy. I was raised in a very unique environment. I would say different, but it's women don't have an ego in it because they're not born into a culture in which it's a pride
Yeah.
thing to be a Deadeye. They listen, and they're some of the best shots that are out there, especially when it comes to things like precision rifle. Now, some sports are more physical, and muscle fatigue, things like that
Yeah.
but when it comes to the mechanics of it, women can be just as good as men, and oftentimes are
Oh,
faster.
imagine
Lauren-
that! Isn't that shocking? Women can be just
Well,
as good
I
as
say
men
this
at it.
because there's still
Yeah.
this perception that shooting is for men, blah 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 blah.
I don't have that.
Lauren's an
perception.
amazing shot.
Yeah,
Lauren's
well-
a great shot. Yeah. Like if there was someone with a gun to my head and they're standing right next to me, unless Lauren's mad at me, maybe she'll just graze my ear.
Oh,
But
yeah.
she would definitely take that dude out.
Well, and here's the thing. That's where the only thing, and I wish this would change.
It's hunting wives.
when it comes to this, but women are oftentimes taught to be more reserved or not to be as.
Oh, culture definitely teaches us to
and
not
so-
make a ruckus. Yeah.
And I say this is not, yes, some political elements pick this up and run with it, but it's a problem because when it comes to the ability of a woman to use a firearm to save my life just as much, I don't want you to be timid. I want you to be confident. I want
yeah.
you to, and
It's not so much confident as we're just society wants us to not hurt people.
Right. Well, and confidence is an issue everybody faces. If you've done training and you've
Yeah.
whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you know how to work a camera. If I say, hey, go grab your camera, you're not sitting there going, well, I don't know if I should,
Oh no, I'll grab it. Worry about it later.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Worry
so-
about it
Debbie
if I got
shoots
the
people
shot
all
later.
the time.
I shoot
say-
people
see?
all day, every day.
hundreds of times, every day, thousands sometimes.
Do you know how many pictures I took last year?
No.
I went to look because I wanted to find like the best ones to
Yeah.
post on Facebook, right? So I looked and I had about 44,000 that I
Wow.
saved. That's from
Yeah.
all the events that
Yeah.
I shot. And if I saved 44,000, that means I took over 400,000 because I routinely only save 10%.
You
I don't
make-
do it on purpose, but
Right.
by the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
I'm done, I look and I'm like, it was about 10%. I delete 90% of them.
I always love hearing you talk because you make me feel better about my neurotic obsessions or OCD. I don't know. I cannot get rid of photos, Debbie. I
Oh,
cannot get rid of photos. Now, the bad ones, yes.
Yeah.
But I have big hard drives full of
Oh
photos.
yeah, yes I do.
And I can't.
I need to give them to somebody. I can't keep them in my house because I have like 10 years of Corpus Christi history, and I need to give him to like the university or something. I need to.
Yeah.
Every time I
I need
look
to have
through
an
them.
offsite.
Well, you know what? And they've got to come up because everything's deteriorable. All right, nothing is permanent. CDs.
No,
we
no.
thought CDs were going to be permanent. No,
No,
they
they're not
deteriorate
either.
too. And I say this. I look back and say, I'm going to get rid of some of these photos. I'm just going to dump. And I go, oh, no, that's a really good photo.
Yeah.
I discounted this photo years ago, but it's really good.
But yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
no, things change. Your perspective changes too.
Right.
Things that you thought were really good at the time, like I can delete more photos if I go back, but in the moment that I do it, like the night after the shoot, I can only delete so many of them, and after that, it's diminishing returns.
See, and I'm a little
It's a
bit
lot
the
of
opposite.
time to delete 3 more.
It's easier for me, or maybe I'm making better choices. At the moment, because I know, okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. But when you look back, look at the photos that we've had printed around town of things that are going on in Corpus Christi. If you took that picture right now, you go, it's a busy picture of the street with a bunch
no,
of people.
seriously, yeah.
Yeah, get rid of
Yeah.
it. But you look
Yeah.
back at it, and you're like, wow, look at that. Look how things have changed in just the last 10 years since I
No,
took
that's
this photo.
true.
And so it becomes very difficult because iconic photographs of landscapes in this city were things that were you could any day you could take
So
it.
we're in the
But not now.
we're in the process. Dale's been working with a few people trying to put together archives for the Island Moon because we get a lot of people asking about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah, you definitely
so
should.
I've been able to go back
As
through.
long as Somali pirates don't come and like steal
Right.
all your
Yeah.
clouds and
Yeah, well,
whatnot.
you know, helping the prince, the Nigerian prince, out of jail and stuff. It's, clicking on every PDF that comes across
Yeah,
your
don't-
inbox.
yeah.
Don't do
Don't
that.
do that. No clicking.
But so we're getting all the old servers. I get a chance to go back in, and Dale will go back and do like a 10 years ago or a 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Kind of segment every once in a while, and some of the stuff is just it blows my mind, and it always crosses my mind when I think about that when I've got the drone in the air.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
flying
yeah.
around looking at different properties that are being sold or things
Right.
being built, the work on Bob Hall Pier and all that. And,
Yep.
going back, 10 years. And I remember people say, oh, yeah, when did you move to the island? It's, back before the German bakery was there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I remember that. And,
Yeah.
I
you
love
know,
that, you know-
Irma's Two Seas and all
Yeah.
that. There's a lot of history and stuff involved in
People always get mad if like there's a car in their shot, which I agree. Sometimes you don't want a car there, but every once in a while, as you were just saying, those cars change, and
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
like 20 years from now, you're gonna be like, oh my god, look at that car, or
Yeah.
look at that hairstyle, or look at
People
that
actually
outfit.
drove
yeah.
a Pontiac bar with the Aztec, or what was that
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
God, it was
Yeah.
a terrible vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's a
And
photo.
stuff that shows the history.
There's a photo that I have. Worst advice. I say one of the best women. I loved her to death, and yet I followed the advice that she gave me when I went to England. When I was, it was a honors history class, and she said, if you take a camera, you're going to spend so much time behind it. You're not going to appreciate where you are.
There's a little bit to
Mm.
be said for that.
Maybe I don't know. I love my
But
mind.
but not the way you and I think. Like,
Yes,
I walked into a flower show once, the Philadelphia Flower Show, and my camera broke the minute I walked through the front door, and I was like bereft. I was like, how am I going to enjoy these flowers?
You turned red right now as you said it.
Yeah.
I actually, there was two friends with me, and I looked at one of them. I said, "Give me your camera." She's like, "No," and I was like, "Yes, you need to give me your camera." I said,
Your
"I'll
camera
give
of your
you."
life.
I said, "Yeah, I'll give you doubles of everything I take." Back then, we had to print them, and I was like, "You're going to take like 20 photos. I'm going to take like 2,000. Give me your camera right now."
Oh,
Yeah.
well, so I took no photos. One person took a photo of me sitting in Piccadilly Circus
Yep.
at the fountain, right?
Yep.
And I swear to you, I looked like I could have been. I look back at it, and at the time, it was like a nothing photo.
Yeah.
I had bleached blonde hair. It was buzz cut. It was kind of a flock of seagulls off to one side. I had no socks on, penny loafers. My pants rolled up, a white shirt or whatnot. I looked like totally 80s. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like I could have been on MTV. I'm like, how did I not see this before? I mean, it was
Because
just,
when you're in the middle of it, you don't
Right.
see it. That's one of
there's
those things you look
pigeons.
back on.
I mean, landing on the fountain. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, all this stuff. It was
Rats with wings.
It was taken with remember those 110s? Or
Oh
whatever
yeah. The old had the little barrel on one side with the old captured film camera.
Right. In
Yeah.
fact, but here's the thing, Debbie, and I wished everybody could have my experience. I kept thinking I knew nothing about photography, and I started until I got my digital mirrorless camera, right?
Yep.
And I started looking back. Well, my mom gave me her box camera. I forgot what it was. It's black. It took 16 total pictures. They were perfectly square.
The slide cameras. Yeah.
And it had a little red lens, no flash,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
it was a solid bakelite box.
Yeah.
And so that's what I started taking pictures on, and then I moved to a 110. And then I had an Olympus 35 millimeter that was
Yep.
the big thing of the day. I did skydiving photography,
Oh, wow.
and so when I had this model girlfriend that was like, "What makes you think you're a photographer?" I started thinking, I was like, well, actually, I've been taking pictures since I was old enough to
Yeah.
push a button. So,
Yeah.
but you've
It's like-
forgotten more than I know. But
No,
still.
it's like being a writer. If
Yeah.
if you write, you're a writer. It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're selling it or whatever.
Yeah,
If you take
yeah.
photos, you're a photographer.
She just didn't want to give me credit for the great photos I took of her that helped her to get the next two guys lined up to rip off. But anyway,
Okay, now there we are. There we are.
Two things. I went to a show in New York at a small gallery, and the show was actually really ingenious and just kind of hilarious, honestly. What the guy would do is he drove around. He lived kind of on the edges of New York City. So he would drive through Manhattan and just pull over wherever he could. And he would get out and he would walk backwards in front of people on the sidewalk. So people see this car pull up and they're just like, they're kind of watching him. And
then
he
he
would
wa-
just hold the camera right at his chest
Yeah.
and just point it at their face and just click photos walking
Right.
backwards.
And he wasn't even looking. He
And you
was
had, just watching them. So
Yeah.
he's making eye contact with them.
but then shooting through
And
the camera.
people's reactions through the different photos. Like at first, like some people would sit there and kind of smile,
Right.
you know?
Some
And then
people were
he
like, "What
kept
the hell are
walking
you doing?"
backwards, taking photos, and you could see this progression in every
Right.
frame of these people getting getting more and more agitated with this guy. Some people just got full on mad, and then he'd have to run back in his car and get in it and drive away.
Well, I was going to ask you this about photography, and the Eric Von Wade show has always been a smorgasbord. I have a wide array of different interests.
Yes,
and
you do. I believe that's true.
I mean, there's almost nothing that I have not been fascinated by or been involved with unless I just haven't had time yet. I mean, I learned to knit and crochet when I was a kid around my grandparents.
Oh, you could make a Bollard Buddy. Those are up, by the way.
Yes.
Quick thing. The Bollard Buddies are up in 40. I went to watch them install them the other day with Jan, and they are so cool. And you can appreciate them, especially if you know how to crochet.
Well,
They're like little tea cozies, but for bollards.
Crocheting is very difficult. My grandmother did not knit. My first girlfriend's mother did, so that's how I learned to knit.
Love that.
My grandmother crocheted, and crocheting people, it's the snobby world of the needlework.
It's not like those lace people.
So the
or
crochet
anything.
people look down on the knitting people,
Yeah,
is what
because-
you're saying?
exactly.
I had no idea.
The knitting people just, it's slipping.
Because it's mindless, and you can just
none of it. It's all habit when you get to a certain master's
Yes,
degree.
yeah.
But with the crocheting, you got to pull the hook through this and that hole, and
That's
and
true.
you
It's
get
a little more to it,
complicated patterns. It's more airy. It breathes better.
There's
but
a
anyway.
doily gang on Facebook now.
Yeah,
You
well,
gotta watch out for those people.
They will knit you to death. So I say this, but when it comes to photography, there's all these different disciplines, and every time Sony wants you to get
Buy a
involved
new
in this or download, so do you do street photography, landscape photography, portrait photography,
Yeah, wedding
photography,
photography.
and yes.
Commercial photography.
But some of my favorite stuff is people that are, and it's because it reminds me of something else. I took a photo I made into black and white, and it was the best thing I ever did. It looked great in color too.
Yeah.
But it was at a yoga retreat, and it was all the girls that got together. I was the only guy they invited to hang out with them, and they were drinking and smoking.
Because he went through his yoga he did yoga too.
Right? Yeah. Well, I'm more of an acro yoga guy, although the regular yoga is good too. But I like the stretching you get from the acro yoga.
See, he knows the different kinds of yoga. So.
My chakra is but.
Your chakra is a rainbow, dude. You got so many things going
I
on.
have a
in
throat
there.
chakra.
It's all chakra and awe here on the Eric Von Wade Show.
Hey, chakra raw.
Yeah.
That was a big. Never mind. I'll stop this. But there was a photo where they are slightly lit. One girl's eyelids are exactly halfway open. She's got a cigarette in her hand and she's laughing. And everybody, it's like it's black background. It was in the hill country, so it was dark. But everything, it looks like it's one of those murals that you walk through.
Everybody's sort of smiling and in the moment.
And it was the greatest moment, which right after that, the tallest girl, gorgeous, about 6'1", and training for the Olympics, fell backwards and hit her head and almost split her.
Oh, no.
Okay, well that was a moment right before the moment.
But it's that 1 millisecond, that moment in time that will always stay exactly as it is.
Yep.
You don't have to worry. It will always be as good as it ever was in that photo. And that's why I think photography has magic to it.
Well, what do you guys think?
Totally
What do you
agree.
guys think about this? I mean, we all, I'm sure, have relatives and family members with the old photo albums from all that.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine, like, in Lauren and I's case, like our two daughters, they're going to be so photographed and videoed throughout their entire life.
Yeah, but do you ever print any of it out?
Well, I mean, I've got it all on hard drives and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like, and
You should make a book for them every once in a while, so they have something tangible to hold on to.
And
There's
if
just something good about right. And
Yeah,
there's
well,
something
if-
about having
absolutely.
a tangible photo.
if someone's looking for a good gift idea, Lauren and I did this where we got my father one and her parents one. I have one in my office. It's one of those. It's a photo album. It's just a picture frame that rotates.
Oh, yeah.
But
Those
you
are
can
cool,
get
too.
on your phone and upload
Yeah,
from
yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So when we, gorgeous little photos of our girls, we can send them to the grandparents and
Yeah.
friends and everything.
Yeah.
And it just sits there and rotates through. And man, I absolutely love it.
Okay,
because
I'm
you
gonna-
can see all
But
these awesome little moments.
Those
from-
are great, but every once in a while, I really feel like
Yes.
we got to print things out. I made a book for my father's not really digital.
Yeah.
And they had a frame with pictures in it, and But every once in a while, we make a book for my parents and my grandparents so that they can see, everything, and because that's something they can hold on to and look at. And what if the power's out? What if you don't? Who knows what's going to happen with technology? It's every
Yeah.
once in a while, people print
And we
them
have to
out.
bow to our AI overlords.
Exactly.
I have two funny stories. We probably should take a bonus promotional moment, but I have one funny story and one great. I'll share this.
All right, let's rate them. I'm
Because
ready.
I did not think of it first, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't think of this idea, but I didn't have anybody to do this with. So I knew a couple, and they had a child, right? Their first child. You could do it with any. It doesn't have to be the first. He secretly snuck away each month and took a picture of the baby. and
Oh,
at the
yeah.
end of that first year, gave it to the mom.
Oh, so we had like 12.
Talk about
Yeah.
waterworks.
Oh, that's,
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's adorable.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, now you could do it once a week. Maybe
Yeah.
he did it more often than once a month. I think it
Yeah.
was more than once. I think maybe once a week. He took a picture in
Yeah.
the same place, but whatever she was wearing that day,
Yep.
he thought it was good. And I mean, it was fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen those videos they show of guys who take a picture of themselves like
Yeah.
once a day,
Yeah.
and then they put them all together, and it goes,
Yeah.
and it shows like their hair slowly changes, and they get glasses or whatever, and they change
That's
their,
a time. That's a true time lapse.
no,
right
it's
there.
a
You do
total
that.
time lapse thing.
One of
It's very cool.
my friend's parents, every year they did school photos. They would just overlap the newest photo in, so
Yeah.
they had like literally a stack of 12 photos from
Yeah,
as
behind that
they
frame,
go
yeah.
through from
Right.
kindergarten up.
Then you don't lose them too.
Well,
Perfect
here's,
idea.
Here's the other thing to be aware of, or maybe think of it as a blessing and heading things off at the past. But they have these picture frames that you put in your house, right? And it connects to your phone, so you can take a picture wherever you are, sends it to the cloud, updates the photo. right?
Yeah.
So parents.
I don't want to update that quickly. I want to look at it first, make sure I don't want to
Well,
make
you
another one.
can look. You can look at
Get
it.
the spinach off of my teeth.
You
yeah.
can
Yeah,
look at it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
this one was set like I guess if you posted it to whatever social media, it would
Yeah.
also upload to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Snapchat, and the kids got a hold of the parents' phone, and while they were gone, apparently the cousins thought they're about that age where they were going to start kissing and taking photos of it, and so a whole family saw it.
I can just see where this is going.
And
Ouch.
so the first
about kissing
the
and
first,
telling.
First words that came back. Do you realize you're related? Do you want to have children with two foreheads? It was. I couldn't stop laughing because
The dangers of modern technology.
until that
yeah.
moment, no, our children are innocent. I go, no, well, okay. Carry on with
That's
that.
hilarious.
But it was the funniest thing ever. But you stop some incest. It's a good thing.
Exactly.
And it's,
I think we've all learned
All right,
something
this is
here.
taking
on
a
the
turn.
Eric
This
Ron
is
White
taking
Show.
a turn.
It is 9:31. We are live here at Doc's Seafood and Steaks. We were talking about Raul Ayala,
Yes.
and we're going to play a little Raul Ayala and take a quick bonus promotional
Nice.
moment, and we will be right back. This is Fake for Me.
How did I know you were going to play some Raul?
right. Hold on.
Have you
yeah.
watched that kid perform? He is
Oh,
so
it's
fun.
amazing. Oh, yes. It's
He plays in Austin now. He has a band in Austin.
well. I think there's a lot of talent right there that is still going to blow up more. I mean, it's like
Oh yeah, he's got the personality for it.
I was going to say one thing. I meant pawn shops. Every now and then, this hat $24 at a pawn shop. If I go buy the modern version of it,
Yeah.
it's $249. And
there
so,
you go.
but it did have some cuts and tears. I need to sew this a little bit better. I cut it shorter,
But then it has that like.
It's got that character,
used
right.
Look and has character.
and I found
You don't want it all shiny.
yeah. I mean, I know how to clean it. You want to brush it clockwise on the top.
You can go to the
counterclockwise.
hat bar and have her fix you
I
up.
could do that. Yes, I need to get. I would like a new one of these days. But in the meantime, you get so much character to them. I used to have a lot of hats. All got stolen. I had this. I never lost a hat except one time. I was hog hunting, and I had an 8mm Mauser. It was Christmas, and the wife was left back at my buddy's place. We were gonna make a quick run looking for hogs. We could put a couple dogs out,
And you lost
and
the
it
hat.
turned into it's raining, it's muddy. I'm wearing
yeah.
jeans and dress boots,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we're crawling on our hands and knees, and it was either the hat or the gun. And it was a Bailey graphite. It was relatively brand new, and
Yeah.
that hat's out there in the brush of Fremont somewhere. But that was every other hat I ever bought from
Yeah.
the time I was 19 when I started working at Texan Hats in the Potter's Table Mall
Nice.
till, in fact, that's where all my hats had come from, except for one girlfriend had bought me a Resistol Black Gold 20X, which at the time was $500. Now they're like $1,500.
Oh my God, that's so much money.
And I
for
still,
that.
but that hat, the more if you know
Yeah.
how to take care of it, basically,
Yeah.
they have more character. It's like boots, I see people that
Yeah.
throw away boots when the soles wear out instead
Yeah.
of getting them resoled or
Right.
they need to be shined,
Yeah.
and it's a sad thing. But is there any more coffee over there?
A little bit.
A little bit tiny. I make. Oh, here I am.
About half
Oh, I hope I'm not sending messages on Snapchat
Why
myself.
are we
I
playing
hear.
Raul Ayala? I love that we are, but I'm just curious. I didn't know we played songs.
Yeah, it's a bonus promotional moment. We'll come
Nice.
back with the,
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but we're still live on YouTube. So.
Oh, that's true. Hey, you were still here on YouTube.
Bonus YouTube conversation.
Yeah, we always have the bonus YouTube comment, so you have to be careful what you say. We're always on a hot mic here.
Back in when we first started doing this, I would have it up, and people would text me. They were like, "Dude, the mics are on." I'm like, "No, it's okay."
Yeah, it's a bonus. It's like Patreon. Well, only because we did hats and boots. You got to do knives.
And then if we do watches, I'll pass out. I'll be so happy.
Did you ever see the White Cap Watch Company? That dude who made the watches.
It was
here?
Tyler, right?
Yeah, it was Tyler.
I was trying to get him
from the airport.
to come on and advertise it because they were on.
They were so beautiful.
Oh, they were gorgeous.
I
And
know.
Gordon's got one.
Yeah, he moved though, right?
Yeah,
He moved to
it's up in
Colorado.
or Kentucky, something.
I forget where he went.
It's north of I-10.
I don't wear a watch. I loved the idea of it because they were beautiful. And Bob doesn't wear a watch either. I would have gotten him one, but
one
I
of
love
these days I will own a Luminox and or a Rolex and a Omega. But
so you'd have to collect them all, and then you have to every morning go, what kind of a watch mood am I in?
well, there's a friend of mine, Scott Lemansky. He has an extensive watch collection, and he has everything from new stuff to this is a 1972 Omega that was made
I
for.
got a 79 Omega Seamaster automatic.
Ah.
Okay, there's one that Omega makes.
It's better than a car collection. Takes up way less space.
Oh,
Yeah.
except it can be as expensive.
Oh, I'm
Something
sure,
like-
I'm sure.
But
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an Omega that was a copy of a Russian diver watch, and it has the stem on the backside, a very large. It was their way of solving the stem adjustment being the weak spot of pressure for dive watches.
Oh, okay.
And they made one. The original one was steel, and then they made one in titanium. I don't like anything titanium because it's so light it feels cheap. I subscribe to the Jurassic Park. If it's heavy, it's expensive. You know.
It's sort of like silverware.
Yeah.
Like you want it to have some heft to
heft
it. You
to
don't.
it.
You do.
Exactly. Oh, I didn't know if we were coming back. I'm always paranoid about dead air, but
Oh yeah. Oh, we're listening to it.
I.
He's great. He's
Oh,
so
he is.
fun.
Ba-doom.
I've taken some great pictures of him performing. He was like jumping off the stage, and he jumps up and
When
down.
it comes to quality feed, your
Oh, you do have my
livestock
spots. There we
deserves
go.
the best.
I need to mention Holy Cow too.
Holy Cow
It is a
Farm
cool
and
little
Ranch Supply
store.
in Robstown
I say little.
is your local source
It,
for Thomas
it's
More Trusted
that
Texas
guy that owns it
nutrition.
is like genuinely a good guy trying to do good things. He puts on a charity. The guy that owns Holy Cow. You know what? He called it Holy Cow because my church, Church Unlimited, used to have a satellite church in this building that he bought. So it became. It went from holy to WHOLY.
I get it.
But everybody there has a great
love a
attitude.
pun.
You buy whatever, they'll load it up, put it in your vehicle however you want. You don't have to carry the. You know, most of the feed stores that I was used to in the country, it's like, you kind of got to get your own stuff there. They have some people to help you maybe, but they'll stack it up, whatever you want. They'll order it for you, and they have lariats. They have every toy that the cowboy boy in me wants.
The cowboy boy needs.
That's another little thing to add into that. But yeah, I mean, and they've got lots of. He doesn't realize how much more business I think he can get. Because he sells so much feed, you know.
Okay.
But all the little stuff that he has for hunters, man. There's the weekend farmer rancher, you know, that will buy every kind of gimmick. But I want to try out some of their hog cane and their deer
what?
cane. It's a play on cocaine, but it's an
okay.
attractant that smells all sorts of good.
Okay. Like that.
So I tried to get him to carry the ladder, but they won't
And
carry
we are
the-
back. Welcome to the Eric Von Wade Show on KUKA, Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. And we're on Retro Tejano, 104.1. The man, the myth, the legend, Eric Von Wade with us, Debbie Noble, and my name is
Hello.
Jacob Oggs. We are glad you guys are joining us. We're live.
Debbie's the real legend. I swear. She picked up. She saw this thing shining on the side of the road a couple of years back.
Not
It
quite.
was a camera. She dusted it off and she took fantastic pictures. That's just one of the many things. But
You're so funny.
I mean, well, I think you were telling me you found it in a pawn shop or something.
No, I've never bought a camera in a pawn
No,
shop.
you held somebody up or something. There was like a
No, I
anyway.
think this story's just gotten better and better every time you tell it.
Just
The
let
fish
me
gets
tell it,
bigger
Debbie.
every time you tell the
But
story. And
she
it's,
can
yeah.
take
Yeah.
any kind of camera and do fantastic stuff with it. There's an eye. We were talking about photography. You have to have an eye for it, and it's
Yeah.
people are afraid. I don't know why. There should be more than there used to be when we had film because it's free to the
Oh,
cost of camera to
yeah.
take pictures and delete.
No, it is.
And
It
you know
is.
exactly what you had. Used to remember when the previews first came out, it was a framing thing only because you couldn't judge color, light, anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Now, what
Oh.
you see is what you get.
I used to teach scrapbooking classes.
Yeah.
That was my my thing for a while in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because people would bring in photos and we teach them how to crop them, like literally with little cutters to cut things out and make it so you get the photo that you thought you wanted.
Right.
But then when digital came out and people would come in with they printed digital photos and you could tell by looking because they had that like sort of flat,
Yeah.
weird look to them. But now
Oh.
they're insane.
I was the coolest kid in class. I was on the radio still. Gee, this makes me feel old.
How long have you been on the radio? When did you start being on the radio?
1994.
Oh, wow.
So I was the youngest talk show host that had a real talk show, I guess.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
been DJs, stuff like that. We're
Yeah.
not DJs, and I only say that because we didn't mix songs. It's a new talent. I've only recently started picking up, doing stuff.
Of course, he's gonna have a new thing. He can be a DJ
Well,
now.
I mean, things change. So you're now...
Do the thing
we're-
where you raise the beat and you can put your hands in the air and then
Oh.
you drop it and everybody goes, "Wah!"
I was helping Ed work a wedding some months back, and the groom was like, I was dancing back there, and he was like, "Man, you were that was the bomb," you know. And so it was.
I think no matter what you do, if you look like you're having fun at it and you're
Yeah.
passionate at it, people get that energy. Whether it's
Yeah.
being a DJ or whether it's doing anything you do at all.
Contagious enthusiasm
Yes.
is the salt of life.
Yes, it
it's-
is. Absolutely.
And so that's
Even if somebody's taking your order in a restaurant, if they're excited about it,
and you can tell the difference. Sometimes it's an invisible thing that you sense and can't put your finger on, and other
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
times it's just
It's-
overt. But
yeah.
if you don't have it, it takes something away from. If you're doing something, that's why I say if you do a job because you need a paycheck, and that's the only reason why you're doing it, you don't enjoy it, you don't take any pride in it. You're never going to do as well or be as happy. And I hate to say this, I'm a traitor to my younger want-to-be a millionaire self, but you know, true, money does not make you happy. I mean, because for a moment it's fun buying the things, but that's the only way.
as
and
long
that's-
as you have enough so that you can pay your rent and buy food
Right.
and you're not like struggling
yes.
all day every day. There's a
People
certain
say-
amount of money that you
But
want to
he-
get out of that struggle.
Even then, what about the movie Kung Fu? He just walked around getting in adventures and saving people from stuff. you know?
Exactly.
don't know
and
if
that
that
worked
works
out
in
well for
real
him
life.
in the. No, it didn't work out
No,
well for him.
no, no.
Yeah,
I mean, but
if
it-
anybody
Hey,
knows the
have you
story
been-
behind Kung Fu, there you go.
Yeah.
Have you been to the brunch club we have downtown yet? Because speaking of DJs, you have
No.
DJ Enzo
oh,
Sol.
Enzo, yeah, he-
and Denzi. They're amazing.
Well, in fact, he's great. I've known him for a long time.
I assume so.
I associated with a lot of people who did the DJ stuff.
Yeah.
And still love him, and I see him every now and then. DJ Chris Vibe, and
Yeah.
I don't know if he goes by that name anymore, but I see him around still. And
J Vibes.
Yeah. Okay. See, it changes slightly,
Yeah,
but you
changes
still
slightly.
know.
No, so they have a brunch club on the first Saturday after Art Walk,
Okay, I'm gonna have to go. You know,
and it's at Bus downtown. So they have good food there. They have fun drinks, and they have somebody there selling like coffee drinks and stuff like that. And they have the DJs there, and people just show up. It's at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. It goes
Okay.
over from 11 to 3, so you can day drink or just have coffee, and you just dance and have fun. And then you're
Okay.
you're not
I
staying up
see a
till 3 in the
recording
morning.
that we could play on the air coming up from one of those things.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this. Okay.
If you know those guys, come next week. Next month.
I am one of those that finds the things I'm interested in sometimes in the most inexplicable way come together, right?
True.
So, I had an axe throwing facility.
No, seriously. The other day, my daughter just came back from
Yeah.
New York. She was visiting friends, and she said one day, "Yeah, we went axe throwing, then we went out to brunch." And I was like, in my head, I went Eric Von Wade
Aw.
because I remember your
Yeah.
axe throwing era.
Well,
Axe throwing and brunch. Those are two things synonymous with Eric
I
Von
know.
Wade.
No,
You
well,
never-
I like to eat a lot, and I like to throw things. My dream is to
I
throw,
throw things.
throw
I drink
things.
and I
Sharp
throw.
things. I like to throw
drink
sharp
and I
things.
throw things.
Well, they
That's
have
your,
like
that's your
axe throwing
shirt.
at Barefoot Mardi Gras. Isn't
Yeah.
there a trailer here on the
There's a
island?
guy that has a mobile,
There's a
yeah.
guy here on the island that has a trailer with an axe throwing thing.
And so
I was like, it just seems like with the drinking and the throwing of the axes, it seems like a bad combination.
You're not if you're going by insurance rules and regulations.
Yes.
Very wise. You can drink and you can throw, but you can't throw while you drink.
Right.
And that rule
so
alone.
you have to put your drink down.
Right. That rule alone and the fun of all of a sudden seeing what everybody from the time they were a kid, boy and girl, I would say,
Yeah.
finds it a magical and amazing thing to see somebody throw a knife and make it stick or throw an axe and make it stick, right?
And it's always like a magic trick.
If you have somebody, and one thing I'm good at is coaching people how to do stuff I do. So in 5 minutes or less, I could have you sticking an axe. And then
Yeah.
it becomes this, now you know what, it's basic stuff, but it's getting your body to do it all at the same time, right?
Right.
You
Like
stop
anything.
drinking as much. The only person that ever got drunk was me. And the only person that ever cut themselves was me. Because I was proving, okay, you don't want to do this, and I'll tell you why. And I know.
Yeah, don't do this.
You don't want to juggle an axe because no matter how dull you think it is, the weight of it,
Oh, yeah.
and you flip it, if you barely graze your finger, and then you're slinging blood at the target all night long. You know, nobody wants that. But my point was not about axe throwing. It was about, oh, gosh.
Sorry, I got you distracted
No.
because you have so many things. We
my-
have to comment on them.
ADD is a hindrance for some people. As a talk show host, it can be great
Oh, that works for you. Yeah.
You just have to harness the power of
Right.
the
Harness the
ADT.
power. Lose the thread.
Oh my! There's two people. I say this. I'm derailing on slightly, but Daniel Dane, good friend of mine. passed away years back, a couple of years back of cancer. He was the guy behind all the Domino's in town. And he had ADD as well. If you were riding in a car, a vehicle with the two of us, good luck trying to say something. I mean, we drove 4 hours for a Friends of NRA committee meeting somewhere, and I don't
Talked
think
the entire
the
time.
radio was never on. And
You were the radio.
we were, but here's the thing: a lot of people would feel like maybe I'm not being heard because he's saying one thing, I'm saying something, but with the entire conversation I had
Oh,
with
yeah.
him, he could repeat, and vice versa.
yeah.
So it's a little bit.
It's the thing where everything that you say makes me think of something, makes him
Correct.
think of something, and then you have to.
And you just build on it. I think we
Yeah.
would talk until like the caveman in the earliest days of existence, who would move and look for food until the moment he just passed out. Well, we would do that talking until just fall asleep after about 3 days, probably. Anyway.
Now you don't still have the X throwing place
No,
here.
no, but I was
Okay.
there was a point to this that I was gonna
I
make.
know, I'm
And it
sorry.
was like, no. Oh, I got it. Okay, so I had
Okay.
an artist donate a painting, and it was just fantastic. And I thought, I want the whole place to be custom like this, but I can't afford to pay. You know, they were only going to donate
Right.
one thing, right?
Right.
So I started painting, and I got to be okay at it. I mean, I'm not gonna. I thought I did pretty good in some cases. I painted a mural that it became the front desk. I painted all sorts of Viking art. I replicated and I started thinking back. I guess I have painted before. Pablo Picasso had a contemporary that taught a woman, Frances Crane, who used to teach art lessons down at the Art Center, and I did a painting with her years ago. It was my second girlfriend's grandmother, and then
You learned painting from one girlfriend's
Yeah.
grandmother, and you learned crocheting from another.
Right,
Well, if
exactly.
you take advantage of all the people in your orbit, that's great.
Well, I mean, it's like everybody liked to have me around because I'm the respectable young kid. Now, when you show up in a van that has a waterbed to take their daughter out for a date, they stop thinking you're the good kid. And I was
That's not a
telling
good look, yeah.
It was just what we had.
It raises eyebrows.
It
It's
raises
just
a little bit.
I mean, I'm 16.
I mean, you gotta ask.
It's just what we had. And I just remembered on my way after I left, I mentioned this on the show, the thing that probably set it off, it was a GMC, right? It was brown, but it was a
It wasn't a white van.
No. The white panel van that
Yeah.
turned some people on. But no, it was a Good Times van, and it said Good Times on the side of it. I'm pretty sure that was the clencher. What's he doing here in this van? No.
As long as it didn't say afternoon delight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
That was his license plate.
That would have been hilarious.
AFT,
No, as far as
GFT.
being a painter, and I think if you were painting, then you're a painter, and if you like what you did, then it was good. I went to a wine tasting once, and you're always like, oh, it's snobby, and but
Right.
the guy looked at us and he goes, it's not a good wine if you don't like it.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me and you can apply that to a lot of things. Like if I like it, then it's good
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
It's good for
Yeah.
myself.
I'll just say, I'm going to brag slightly on this. I was invited to a party. I'm not going to mention Mark Scott's name. And it's one in which everybody brings a bottle of wine. And
Yeah.
and so
Speaking of
as
which,
as
I
I
think I
was
forgot
doing
to go to his party.
as I was enjoying that,
His brother's an artist, right? His brother's an amazing
his
artist.
dad was a fantastic artist. I mean, he's very talented. He's passed away, but they used to be my next door neighbors, right? So
Yeah.
I lived across the street. I went in and I had a whole bunch of people there. There's one I'm looking, and this one guy was going to try that bottle, and we'd been talking. I go, you know what? I think I'm going to try this bottle. And he goes, this guy knew more about wine than I did.
Yeah.
He goes, oh no, yeah, we're trying that bottle. And it was delicious. I had one glass. I go, I'm going to take a picture of the label. The bottle was gone. I mean, it was like
yeah.
whatever it was, and it was fantastic. And I don't
Take
know
a
the name
picture
of
of it so you can find it later. Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I used to take pictures of wine bottles everywhere I go, and the glass of wine.
Yeah.
And I made a thing out of that. Grimaldi's at the mall.
Yeah.
Evening, it has magic light. Whatever you put out there, if you've got a great lens, and they've got
Yeah.
black marble.
Yeah.
I got fantastic photos. Here's the other thing:
You got to get a different kind of wine every time, though.
Well, of course. I mean, and pizza as well. So, but
I do like Grimaldi's pizza.
here's the thing. So I started painting deer blinds.
Okay.
And I just so it's actually been good practice. I painted all the deer blinds when I had at least in the hill country, and now I was going to put some safe pallets together and make a quick deer blind. Well, now I had to measure and fill in all the gaps exactly. I have created so many layers, and in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock, I am scratching off paint because nope, too many layers, and it's not supposed to be an art project. It was supposed to be splotchy quick, and now I've got trees that look exactly like
Trees.
mesquite scrub brush
Ooh.
and the grasses, and I've got even like the game. I'll show you a picture. in
Okay,
a
so it
second.
really does blend.
Right.
in.
So when you put it up there, it's like you're Predator, except from the Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're just reflecting the environment
Right,
around
right.
you, and so, but you know what? I enjoy it, so I'm like, to heck with it. I'll probably finish it the day deer season ends, but I can put it up somewhere else. It's if you enjoy painting. It's my little 3 or 4 hours at night when I'm supposed to go to sleep. Fun, you just work it right in.
So speaking of Mark Scott's brothers being an artist, Boar's Head. Have you ever been to Boar's
Oh.
Head? That's Saturday. That's this
Okay,
weekend.
that used to be. I used to live right across the street from there,
From that church.
and I dated the pastor's daughter years ago.
What did her grandmother teach you?
Oh,
Never mind. Forget I asked.
it's a good thing that I don't think of all the things to ask, but no.
So Boar's Head.
Right. Oh, I learned to play darts from her dad, though.
Well, there you
Fantastic
go, you
dart
learned
player.
something.
Yeah.
So have you been in a while to Boar's Head?
I have not been. I didn't miss last year, but I've been every year before that.
All right. So it's this Saturday. Have you ever been?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
it's
Tyler's-
amazing. Tyler's in it. I have
Yeah.
pictures of Tyler in tights from last
it's
year.
a great history.
It's
too.
a great history. It's free. People, it is absolutely free to go. There's a show at 3 and 5 and 7. And tell me the name of the church because I don't remember.
It's the First Christian Church on Santa Fe, I believe is what it's.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's right, First
It's
Christian?
it's like a pageant. Hank Harrison's family is super involved in it. So Hank's always in it. The
Yes.
costumes are amazing. The music. It's a whole like passion play, and they're up
is.
and down the aisles. They're indoors. They're outdoors. You have to sit in your seat.
There's the Yule log. You don't
Yeah, there's
understand
a
where
Yule
that
log,
comes
yeah.
from.
Yeah.
And they had pamphlets if you get
That
there.
explain the whole history
Right.
of the whole history.
And
of
I
it.
love it. It goes way back. I mean, this is something that anything that's old and ancient, I don't know why I've always drawn to it because it's like
Yeah.
you take a step back in time. One of the things I loved about Fredericksburg, and they've changed it now because I just drove through there to give somebody a ride out of the blue a month ago. Fredericksburg had a very strict standard on any new construction had to look like it was 19th century to match everything else.
Because
Yeah.
you want to make it look
Now,
like that makes
maybe
sense.
there's still some areas, but Main Street has got some modern hotels and stuff on it now, and that
Yeah.
is, you want to drive in the left lane, not the right lane, because all that street parking is constantly backing out. It was right before Christmas when I was up there, I guess. And so it was beautiful, though, gorgeous, but
I haven't been in a long time.
but when you walk down a buckboard sidewalk and everything looks 19th century, and you have it, there's not even the modern signage that you see through windows, you get a moment where you feel like you might be. And I'm wearing boots, and Texas Jacks used to be there. I think they've closed down. They outfitted the whole cast and crew for Tombstone. That's what I meant to say earlier. And so I thought I would bring back the real Old West style. Now, everybody thinks you're in a movie or something when you show
Yeah.
up. It's maybe shirts every now and then, but it's you got to save that for when you're going to be playing Theodore Roosevelt or something,
and conserving history and saving national
and I'm
parks.
only going to make this because now I can complete everything I started and didn't finish. Theodore Roosevelt was one of the few people in history who appreciated the time because he went and bought the Elkhorn Ranch in the Dakotas and became a cowboy for a moment in time. It was after 1875, but close to, and lived the experience that was part of the fabric of what shaped this country. And so the only thing is that his language, and I thought it was kind of ironic, growing up, my grandparents used big words. They were the William F. Buckley generation, right?
Uh-huh.
So the Cowboys had all sorts of stories that they still tell about him yelling out to them commands like, run forward yonder there, or whatever it was. And so, these are guys that had very limited vocabulary and thought it was pretty funny. He had a war going on with the Frenchmen. The whole French-U.S. thing started with Theodore Roosevelt and the Elkhorn Ranch. Next to him was a Frenchman who, I got to tell you, his style was fantastic. He had black leather chaps with fringe. He had a black leather jacket. He had a black hat. He had sunglasses. And the guy is part of the reason, though, why the cowboy era ended. He was an investment in the refrigerated rail cars. So now we didn't have to lose all that weight and cow driving them to Oklahoma,
Refrigerated cars
start 'em here, and send them that way. And they hated each other because the Frenchmen got into a dispute over some issue of politics with Theodore Roosevelt and called him Four Eyes. And it was happening at a bar that.
Just don't say that to Wild Bill Hickok.
No, but there's so much more of the Frenchman.
He would shoot you.
The Frenchman was royalty, and
Okay.
so many of his hunting cabin trophies have survived, whereas the Roosevelts did not. And so you get a chance to see a lot more from the other side. He was a cool guy. They just they got off on the wrong foot.
So guess which state I've never been to in the United States? There's only one. I've been to 49.
North Dakota.
Absolutely.
You know how many? That's where my grandparents are from, so I've been there a lot.
Yeah.
No, that it's the one state that's not on the way to anything else.
Yep.
So my husband is in the Coast Guard. We've driven crisscross driving across the country to move all the time. So I've been everywhere, and I've been to the Badlands, and South Dakota has a lot of cool stuff.
Gorgeous.
But so that's the one thing. Bob wants to go like camping and go up to North Dakota. I'm kind of like, it's kind of fun leaving it at 49. It's kind of like not having that one extra.
Yeah,
step.
I'm meeting your heroes. Like, do you really want to meet
I'm at-
North Dakota?
I know, right?
I'm at 49. There's one. You know what state I have not been to?
It's either Hawaii or Alaska, because they're the farthest.
Alaska's
they're-
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, Alaska.
I've been to Alaska.
I've got
Bob was
friends-
stationed there.
I've
Well,
got
see,
friends that are there.
if they were still in the 80s, I kid you not, I had a group of friends, guys. We all talked about if we were in the 19th century, we would have been famous. Well,
Yeah.
one of us would. So we
The rest
talked.
of
We
you would all be
talked
10
about.
because of that lifestyle.
So one, there was
Ken
a
Kesey.
when the History Channel was all
Yeah.
about little programs that you now find on a number of things. They had a deal about people who were panning for gold in Alaska, right? And there were places where you could get
You
a
could still
permit
do it
and
in our
go do
lifetime,
it.
yeah.
And at that same time, there was a small window, I believe. Maybe it had just ended, but I also tried to get them to go to Alaska because they
Mm-hmm.
were giving away land. It's the last holdover of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
made America because
Yeah.
they wanted people to settle Alaska.
Yeah.
Now,
No,
when
it's-
you look at the plots that were available, you might be 100 miles away from the nearest
From
anything.
anything.
That's
Yeah.
why everybody
Right.
up
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is a bush pilot. Everybody
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
backcountry,
Yeah.
they're all bush pilots, or they fly water planes.
Their capital, Juneau, is inaccessible by road. You can't get there.
And I love the name. I love the movie Juno as well. Great movie. But not
No,
about Alaska. But yeah.
I went on a cruise in Alaska. So we did a cruise from Seattle and went up and went around. So that was my being in Alaska.
right
Bob was stationed in Hawaii, and that's where they would go up to Alaska from
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Right before my grandfather died, he got remarried to my grandmother's second cousin, and they went on a cruise. The entire.
Shaking out like Sinai. What?
So my grandmother passed away. But
Okay,
still.
so we're not-
Anyway, they went on an Alaskan cruise. The entire
Super
ship
fun.
busted out with dysentery,
Oh, that's
Oh,
and
no.
and then it caught
That's-
fire.
and
oh
then
my
it,
gosh.
that seems like a cruise from hell.
It was a hot mess.
Well,
Literally,
hot
yeah.
mess.
It's
It
better
was
than
a
the-
hot mess.
What's that Netflix show, Boot Cruise or
Yeah.
Oh
something?
my God! Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's true. That
Lauren
was
telling
the
me about
original
that.
one.
It's
I
like,
did not watch that.
No, I'm not watching that.
He
No,
was
I'm not watching
literally
that.
a shade of green.
They're
when I
like
saw the
giant.
picture.
The cruise ships are unfortunately like giant petri dishes.
Oh, well,
They really
and
are.
I would love to go on a train ride with somebody. I
Oh, yeah.
wanted to spend a lot of time without
Yeah, yeah,
clothes.
yeah.
You know, but and a ship would be great too. But it doesn't have to be that fancy because I'm really
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going
yeah.
outside the room that much. And but here's the train ride. There's one of those too.
Yeah.
But you have to really. I would say if you've been together for 20 years and you don't really say a whole lot of things, but you do stuff together, a train ride or a cruise. Well, a cruise would be better because
Yeah,
train ride.
a cruise you can get away.
Oh yeah, I
Cruise
had-
you can go do your own thing.
friend
you
of
can
mine
get off
and-
and get on again.
his wife went and they were like, we stared at each other for days. there's no TV.
Yeah.
Or at least at that time there wasn't.
Well, this day and age though, you have phones.
But I wanted to go to Alaska. I said, look,
Yeah.
we could get.
It was beautiful.
We'll
Absolutely beautiful.
Plan it out. We'll pan for gold, and who knows?
Yeah.
We might be some of those people that find it, or
Yeah.
we are
Or,
people.
no, or you have a good story, or you have a good story.
We hunt for survival, and
you got memories.
You find out who is just talking and who's serious. I found that out with skydiving. Same thing. Everybody was that about hog hunting. Nobody wanted to run in the brush and grab hogs by the hand at night. I mean, it was like I was the only one who went and kept doing it. I was like, guys, I thought we talk about doing this stuff, and now I'm doing it, and y'all don't want to go.
Yeah, he's the guy in the group that comes up with all ideas, and everyone's like, yeah, and then the next morning you're like, yeah, well, we weren't.
There's an episode
But
of
he's the one
Grey's
who really meant
Anatomy.
it.
There's an episode of Grey's
Ooh,
Anatomy
that's a
like
good
that
show.
where they had the group of guys, and every year they went and did something extreme, and they had scars and surgeries and broken bones.
and that's
one
why
guy-
they're all in Grey's Anatomy.
And so
It's a hospital show.
Because it's awesome.
So it's like stories of how they got there.
I've
Yeah.
only broken one bone in my life that I know of, anyway.
Yeah.
And I did it in Leadership Corpus Christi. And it was supposed
Well
to.
known for its violent nature.
Well,
That aggressive and
It's a rough
dangerous.
town.
It's an
It's-
extreme.
yeah.
It's like an extreme sport there.
It was class
Leadership Corpus
34,
Christi.
the best class ever.
That's- it's a cult.
I came up with a new slogan. There were no rules in Leadership Corpus Christi until Eric Von Wade went through, and then they said, we're going to have to make some rules.
Yeah.
One, you can't change your slogan to all the other classes suck, because it was just a...
Yeah.
No, every class was the best class ever.
But, right, that's
For
what
everybody I've ever
But
met.
there was no rule that said they had to say that. It just kind of became a thing. singer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's stand out.
And they didn't let you do the retreat for city council
Yeah,
this
that-
go
I
around.
could
Maybe
plan-
next go. Well, are we in an election year? Guess what?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
You know,
Yeah, we are.
the retreat that we had for Leadership Corpus Christi was fantastic. It's at the Episcopal Pavilion that's on your way to
Port A, yeah.
Port A, right?
Oh, okay.
Great place. I believe 2 marriages began there, and one divorce, and a news anchor was also
born.
Much
Class 34.
Yep.
Class
the
34.
best class
That's the
ever.
best class ever.
Much like Beachcombers. It was all placid till I showed up. And when you have 22 double shots of tequila, 2 Everclear margaritas, a Jim Beam and Coke, 2 glasses of wine, and
If you had all that stuff, how do you remember you had all that stuff?
and two mouthful shots of Jaeger because I've practiced a lot. and that's what happens.
Wait, what's a mouthful shot? Is that thing
You
where
have
you
to-
lay back? Yeah, you
you
lay
put
back
your-
and
they fill up to your
they
teeth.
pour the shot directly in your mouth and then you close your mouth and they shake your head.
No, I didn't have to shake my head. I just had to swallow. And
Oh no, we did that once to somebody when because Bob was in the Coast Guard. We were like in Newport, Rhode Island once. We did that to a guy. I was just watching them do upside down shots.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched this one guy. They poured it in and they went to shake his mouth and stuff went everywhere.
Oh,
it
my
turns
God,
out they
yeah.
disconnect. He opened his mouth so wide to fit it all in that he disconnected his jaw.
Oh,
and they had to take him to the ER.
That is not recommended. we
so
on
I
the
haven't
Eric
done that since.
we on the Eric Von Wade show do not recommend any
No.
of that behavior. We are not your financial advisors, and please do not use anything you hear on this show as a flotation device.
And don't try to do what I do because you're likely not to survive it. But
I've survived. You almost haven't survived it.
Well, that was
you've
not.
had your brushes.
I didn't choose for the jeep
No.
jacking. That was different. But I did
Yeah.
survive a rattlesnake that very same night, blind, led by 2 girls to a room, and one of them I dated for 7.5 years after that.
the rattlesnake?
There was, no,
the girl.
More great shows.
Probably would have
more
been
great,
better.
more great stuff coming to you tomorrow. This has been the Eric Von Wade Show, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Debbie Noble, my name is Jacob Boggs, and Eric Von Wade, the one and only. We are going to hand this back off to KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3.
boom, that just happened. But no, that's true. Here's the thing: these were the most inexperienced outside of air conditioning girls. And of course, one of them not so much, but they didn't know anything about creatures apparently. So my buddy Arnold Gonzalez Jr. was the one who sent me home from the dance floor, and because he came over, and his wife got all upset. She was like, "You're drunk." I go, "Yeah, but I'm going with that." And he said, "Oh, she said that." I don't remember her name, but yes. And so she says, "You're not much of a dancer." Well, I'll tell you. So I was beating her in a dance competition. When he goes, "Hey, where you gonna go? Kicking your wife's ass in a dance competition?" And he goes, "Okay, who's there standing?" Because I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. I could not keep rhythm. I spoke like I was sober, but I couldn't open my eyes. And so as they were leading me back, I hear this. They go, "That sounds like a rattlesnake. I just want you to know it's not the one. It's under the stairs. So we're gonna step over." He goes, "No, we're not."